What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer, taking a look at the new Hungry Burger support because, yes, why not? Who doesn't like a good burger? So this literally was memed into existence. I don't think they ever planned on having a Hungry Burger archetype, but here we are. If you guys follow the Yugioh anonymous Twitter page, there's this is what I know it from. Where what I think it started from was the person who runs the account joked that this was a good bridge in Drytron. And ever since then, people have just been talking about, Hungry Burger for a long, long time now. So I guess it's getting its own archetype here, a whole cooking archetype. So let's take a look at what they are. And then there's a lot of ritual monsters, so we'll take a look and see what it says. It says, note, please be gentle with us. We think this is a something theme. I don't even know what these words are. French cuisine. Okay, let's stick with that. Nouvelle cuisine is an approach to cooking and food representation or presentation in French cuisine. All right, let's get to the Yugioh part. That's the part that I like. The theme also appears to be a full course meal. Very nice. This is a word. So this is the level 1 ritual monster. Let's just stick with that. 400 attack, 1850 defense. Very random. You can summon this card with any recipe card. Fantastic. You can only use the first and second effects of this card's name once per turn. If this card is special summoned, you can activate the top 5 cards of your deck. Seems to be a very common theme of modern Yu-Gi-Oh! And if you do, you can add one excavated Nouvelles card from your hand. Also, shuffle the rest back into the deck. Very cool. Well, let's see what the ritual card says. That's kind of interesting. When a card or effect is activated that targets this card, or when this card is targeted for an attack. Quick effect, you contribute this card and one other attack position monster on either field. That's always nice. And if you do, special summon one level 2 or 3 Nouvelles ritual monster from your hand or deck. So this is the literally like the not Fluffles, Melfi version of ritual monsters. Now, you could also say Melfi's a little bit better because it's like when your opponent summons, not for an attack or targeting. So that's okay. It's always weird to play a deck that depends on your opponent to play. Now, Melfi certainly has its weaknesses, but they trigger when your opponent summons. If your opponent plays is what that really means. It means that you get to bounce and then use all the effects. So that's kind of interesting to see how that'll work out. I don't know if all of these are going to be good. There's a lot, apparently. So we'll see what ends up happening there. That one's decent, right? Being able to tribute your opponent's monster. So they're not going to be able to get over it through traditional means. So it is hard to get over, and that's the benefit, right? Either an attack or targeting. That's the way you get rid of almost everything in Yu-Gi-Oh! Almost all the time. So if you have multiple of these on the board, then that can be pretty tough. Raigeki, I guess, is pretty good against this. It's a traditional fish stew. Okay, great. I appreciate that they did this. I just want to go over the cards, really. This is something. This is the level 2 ritual. You can ritual summon this card with any recipe card. You can only use effect, blah, blah, blah. If this card is special summon, you can target one spell and trap on the field, destroy it, which is great. These two work well together. Opponent attacks, you flip it out. Right, if you're only running one of these and you want to get rid of one of your opponent's spells and traps, fantastic. And it's also any special summon, so that's kind of nice. It doesn't say ritual summoned. When a card, which makes sense, when a card or effect is activated that targets this card or targeted for an attack, you contribute it, and then you can go for a level 3 or level 4. Okay, so the first one goes for a level 2 or 3. This is a 3 or 4. Okay, so you can either bring out this one or you can bring out this one. So that's okay. I mean, it seems like all of them have that effect, right? Targeted. Again, this feels like Ritual Melfi, so let's see what the level 3 does, because you either have the option to bring this one out or this one with the level 1. This one is the level 3, okay. I wonder what these cards are going to be named. We'll see, but if this card is special summon, you can draw a card. Definitely not bad, but let's see. When a card or effect is activated, you can tribute this card and attack position monster in either field, special summon a level 4 or level 5. These are a little disappointing so far. I mean, drawing a card is definitely not bad. Destroying a spell and trap's not bad. I just wish that one of these was maybe a monster effect negation. Although I guess as a quick effect, it doesn't really matter, does it? So, I don't know. I like the effects, right? As long as they all stick on the board, you can do two cool things, and especially if you get multiple out, then I think you can really start to snowball. But let's get to the more serious ones here, right? The level 4s and level 5. I bet you in level 6, I think it gets better and better. I know the level 6 is good. I read that one. Okay, you can ritual summon this with any effect, right? Any recipe card, I mean to say. If it's special summon, you can target 3 cards in any graveyard, shuffle them into the deck. It's just, again, the unfortunate part is this is only after your opponent has willingly gone into this effect, right? Your opponent's like, okay, well, if I attack him, I know he's going to tag out. And if your opponent can like set their graveyard up appropriately, then this card is just going to fizzle out. So I don't know. I have a feeling that some of these, like some of the bridge ones, like, right, it's level 4 or 5, and this is 5 or 6. I think some of these bridges may end up getting cut if you want to play the deck, but we'll see. All right, let's keep going here. And I'm going to possibly try to pronounce that. Cool artwork, though, for this one. This is a level 5 ritual. If this card is special summon, you can add a Nouvelles or a recipe card from your deck to your hand. All right, now we're starting to cook, especially when you talk about ritual summoning. You know, it's like very difficult to pull off. Although it does seem like this works really well in Drytron. As long as they're less than 2,000 attack, that's when it really starts to, you know, be pretty good. So I would imagine that's probably the engine. I know there's always the other one that I just played recently, and I can't think of the darn name. The other ritual support, right? You can reveal ritual, you special summon it, yada yada yada. Okay, so you can target one opponent's attack position monster, tribute it, and if you do, special summon a level 6 Nouvelles ritual monster from your hand or deck. This is a quick effect. It will special summon by a Nouvelles monster effect, which it probably will, but you know, you can also just obviously naturally summon this one. So this one's interesting. So this one up to now is like attack or target. This one says straight up, it's a quick effect. You can tribute an opponent's monsters and bring out another big body, which is the boss monster. This is the most important one, like by a large margin. So we'll see what the level 6 does. I remember reading it and it was like really good. If this card is special summoned, you can negate the effects of as many face-up cards your opponent currently controls as possible until the end of this turn. Then, if it was special summoned by Nouvelles monsters effect, tribute all monsters they control. Wow, as many face-up cards too. So even if your opponent has like continuous, you know, traps or a field spell, they're all cooked. And that's obviously a very good thing. Quick effect, you can target one opponent's attack position monster, tribute it, and if you do, special summon one Hungry Burger. Yeah, nice, from your hand or deck. I'm sure there's a cool trap that has something to do with like if you control Hungry Burger. And that's awesome. Like this is what Yu-Gi-Oh is all about. That's what makes it so fun. Like who would have thought in 2023 that a Hungry Burger would be coming out a special summon from the deck? So it's kind of like a ritual archetype, but it's really, really not. Here's a field spell, the obligatory modern field spell. When this card resolves, you can add one recipe card from your deck to your hand. That's always cool. These aren't recipe cards, but pre-prep I'm pretty sure is going to be like crazy. And also I think that pre-prep works with Hungry Burger. And then Preparation of Rites, I think it's called, also searches like a level 6. So lots of ways to search these out. Although it could even be level 6 or lower. I don't exactly remember. But these are much more searchable than like ritual spells are, obviously. So it's nice that it does that. Once returned, you can place one ritual monster from your hand on the bottom of the deck, draw one card. Okay, so this says from hand or deck. But I guess if you have Hungry Burger in your hand, you can also just send it back and draw a card. And that's always pretty cool. Okay, so you get to add one, you get to fix your hand, and then during your end phase, you can target 2 cards in your graveyard, including at least one recipe card, place them at the bottom of the deck in any order, then draw 2 cards. So potentially you're fixing your hand to draw a card, and then during the end phase, you're also adding another card to your hand. And those are free, right? 2 cards, you're not like getting rid of one. And you're also putting them on the bottom, so you know you're not going to draw them. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, right? It could be bad if you need those cards, but at least you're drawing multiple cards. Field spells seem to be like just draw power in decks now. Like the game of Yu-Gi-Oh, of course, is just getting faster and faster. Like power creep is starting to like really settle in. Like we're reaching a new era of Yu-Gi-Oh, I feel like. But that's kind of how I feel. This is the ritual spell. Okay. So these are all recipe cards, of course. It can be used to ritual summon any Nouvelles ritual monster. You can ritual summon one Nouvelles. I hope I'm saying that right. Ritual monster from your hand by tributing monsters from your hand or field whose total levels exceed the level of the ritual monster you ritual summon. Then, if you ritual summoned, ooh, this is a pre-prep target, that's pretty sick. If you ritual summoned blah 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 blah, and which one is that? That is the one? It is. It's the blah 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 blah. So if you ritual summon the level 1, you can add a recipe ritual spell from your deck to your hand. So there's multiple ritual spells. That's very unique. Except a copy of itself. So I guess in the future they may have other ones, but it looks like for now it's going to be this one. Okay, this is Meat Recipe. Ritual summon one Nouvelles ritual monster from your hand by tributing monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed the level. Then if you ritual summon New Confitress, which is the level 2, okay. So I guess you're playing those for pre-prep. You can change all opponents' defense position monsters to attack position, which is great, right? Because you want to tribute your opponent's attack position monsters. I almost wish that these said if you're involved in attack, but I'm pretty sure they say when your opponent attacks this monster. Or when a monster is... Oh, interesting. Okay. When a monster is targeted for an attack. So even if you have other ones, you can still do that. That's very interesting. Okay. That's something. That definitely... The most important things that you can search these out. And I guess if you like ritual summon and you tribute one of like the higher attack position ones, like the field spell can shuffle it back into the deck. On the bottom, you draw a card, and that way you can like bring these out a little bit easier. So, you know, ritual summoning the bigger ones, you know, using the ritual spells is not a bad thing, as long as you have the field spell with you. And that's pretty neat. This is a continuous trap. Okay. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name, each once per turn. Target one ritual monster you control. Special summon a token. And if you do, its level becomes that monster's. Very bizarre. You can send this face-up card from your spell and trap zone, I guess for ritual summoning, that makes sense. You can send this face-up card from your spell and trap zone to the graveyard. Ritual summon one Nouvelles ritual monster from your hand by tributing monsters from your hand or field whose total levels exactly equal the level of the ritual monster you ritual summon. Exactly. Ooh, that's kind of rough, right? You can send this face-up card, okay, by tributing monsters. So I guess if you tribute like the 1 and 2, you can bring out the 3. So you just got to do a little bit of math. There is math in Yugioh. So that's ritual summoning during your opponent's turn is good. Especially, of course, if you can go into the boss monster. That's obviously the key thing there. All right, and this is the counter trap. When a spell trap card or monster effect is activated and you control a Nouvelles ritual monster, negate the activation. Then, if you control a monster special summoned by Nouvelles monster effect, you can destroy that card. So they want you to stay in house. That seems to be the key, right? They don't want you to use Drychon or anything else. And if you special summon Hungry Burger, you can banish this card from your graveyard, tribute all monsters your opponent controls. So the whole point of this, I guess, is, you know, monster control. There is that one that destroys spells and traps, so that's kind of interesting. But it seems okay. These aren't bad effects by any stretch of the imagination. I don't know if it's like quite to the power level to like see like real competitive play. I guess it's not really the point, is it? Or maybe I'm wrong. This is like insanely cracked. It's good, right? Being able to tribute your opponent's monsters. Again, it's just unfortunate that it depends on your opponent, like very specifically to play into it. You know, I talked about Melfi's. That's your opponent. If your opponent plays, you get to trigger the effects. This one's like your opponent has to go into it. Now, if they don't attack at all, you're going to end up getting so much advantage they can't play anyway. So I guess there is some sort of pressure. It's just weird when you have archetypes like this. But it's fun. Let me know what you guys think about Hungry Burger support in the comment section down below. Other than that, that's going to do it for today's video, and I'll see you guys next time.